All right, so we're going to go ahead and do Notre Dame's predictions today. Notre Dame has good potential, I should say, coming into this season. They do have a new head coach though, but this is a very talented team. He's going to be coming into the season with. Um, Questions at quarterback position is probably the main concern for them, but I mean this is a really talented team. I think they can win a lot of games. So let's go ahead and dive into the schedule. The first game is away at Ohio State. This is a very tough test for a first-year head coach as their first game. If you see my Ohio State predictions video, then you know that I have Ohio State winning this game. This is too tall of a task for Notre Dame in their first game with a new head coach. Like I said, I don't think they're going to have what it takes to win this game. I think this is probably going to be like maybe a 10-point win for Ohio State. It could be more after halftime, but I think it's going to be close in the first and second quarter. But after halftime, I think Ohio State makes adjustments and they win the game. But all right, go Notre Dame starting out 0-1. Next game is going to be at home against Marshall. Marshall, I don't know a whole lot about them. I know that they have been an up and down team in their conference over the past few years, but they don't have the talent level that Notre Dame has. So this should be an easy win for Notre Dame at home. But I've said that before, but Notre Dame has struggled in these games sometimes whenever they overlook these opponents. But this should be a win for Notre Dame. I don't see any upset. Next game is home against Cal. Cal is probably one of the worst teams in the Pac-12. They're probably better than Arizona, but they're in Colorado maybe, but they're not that great. So this should be another easy win for Notre Dame to go ahead and get their second win of the season. And then next game we have is away at North Carolina. North Carolina has a lot of potential coming into this season to be a real contender in the ACC. I think they have a really legitimate shot to go to the conference championship game against Clemson. That's who I have going as Clemson. So I think North Carolina has a good chance of going and meeting Clemson. So, and this game is at North Carolina. This is another really tough test. I think this is going to be one of their toughest tests of this season for sure, without a doubt. Especially this first 4-game stretch. Yeah, that's 2 tough games, especially away games. Wow. But I think Notre Dame goes into North Carolina, and I think they leave with a loss. I think North Carolina gets them at home. I think North Carolina is going to have a good defense, and I think that plays a pivotal role in this win for them. And this is going to be a very marquee win for Mac Brown at North Carolina. All right, next game is away at BYU. BYU has upset a lot of teams at home. I have them upsetting a couple of teams this year, I think, in my predictions so far. But I don't think BYU is going to beat Notre Dame, though. I think Notre Dame is just going to be way too good. And especially after a loss like that, I don't think that they're going to lose this one, though. This could be a close game, though, but I still think Notre Dame's going to win this game. All right, next game is home against Stanford. Stanford, I've talked about them before in past videos. They're not that good. This is probably David Shaw's last year there, unfortunately. So I don't think this is going to be a difficult win at all for Notre Dame. I think this will be a pretty easy win, especially with it being at home. They'll probably blow them out. Probably a 4-touchdown win. Next game is home against UNLV. Nothing really to say about this. This should be an easy win for them. Like I said, I don't have anything to say about this. But anyways, next game is away at Syracuse. That should be an easy win. This is going to be Dino Baker's last year there. Syracuse is really bad. They're one of the worst teams in the ACC, so not a whole lot to say about that either. I need to actually go back to the BYU one because I just forgot that they play at a neutral site in Las Vegas. I don't understand that. I don't get why, but I still think Notre Dame's going to win that game, even if it's a neutral site. I don't care where you play it. I still think Notre Dame's going to win the game. But anyways, I had to rephrase that, go back and correct myself. Next game, though, is home against Clemson. Clemson is going to be one of their toughest games. especially with it, even with it being at home. Clemson is going to be really good this year. They're going to have one of the best defenses around, and they're going to have a really good shot of pushing for the playoffs. I had them going 11-1, and if you saw my Clemson prediction video, I do have Clemson losing this game. Actually, I think Notre Dame gets them at home. I know it's Clemson's bye week before going into this one, but I think Clemson is undefeated at this point, and I think this is prime position for Notre Dame to catch them whenever they're riding a high streak, and catch them whenever they're kind of napping a little bit, thinking that they're going to go undefeated the whole season. And I think Notre Dame gets them at home and shocks them and upsets the Tigers. That's going to be their biggest win of the season, I think. But, all right, next game is away at Navy. Navy's up and down all the time. You can never tell if they're going to be good or bad. It's a service academy, so you just don't know what you're going to get. Even with the triple option, you know what they're going to run. But Notre Dame should win this one, even if it's away. But you might look for probably a down game for them, possibly. They're just they're riding that high streak from the win against Clemson going into this one, and could look for them to have a down game. Like they're just they kind of have a hangover from that big win over Clemson. But I think they probably get this win, though. Might be a sneaky close game, but they'll get the win. Next game is home against Boston College. Boston College is okay. They have a strong run game usually and a good defense, but I don't think Boston College is going to have what it takes to win. So I think this is another good Notre Dame win for them. Boston College is going to be a decent team this year, I think, but they're not going to be able to beat Notre Dame, especially at home. Next game is away at USC, the last game of the year. USC has a lot of question marks on defense, and that's going to be their main concern. I have no question about their offense this year. I believe that USC is going to have a very explosive offense, but their defense is going to be their downfall. And the fact that all of these guys that have transferred in the play of the season, this is like a big experiment with them to see if this is going to work for this transfer portal and Lincoln Riley. So it's, even though it's away at USC, if you see my USC prediction video, I have Notre Dame winning this game because I think USC's fatal flaw, like I said, is their defense, and I think Notre Dame is going to take full advantage of that and win the game. I think they win by 17 points at least. I think they control the clock, run the ball, and beat up on USC at the end of the season. So I have Notre Dame going 10-2. I think they finish in probably 7th or 8th place, looking outside into the playoffs. They'll be looking for the playoffs in the first 4 games, but after that North Carolina loss, they're going to be knocked out. So no playoffs for Notre Dame this year, in my opinion. So they'll be going to probably a New Year's Six bowl or one of the big bowls anyways. But anyways, that's what I've got for Notre Dame, 10-2. Let me know what you guys think. Like, comment, and subscribe. Have a good day.